The next piece I'm going to go to are some questions. This particular topic, drugs and alcohol, I'm going to spend some time on this one. I might not get to every one, but let's talk about this. When you have a situation with someone who's involved either possessing or using drugs, there is a process in place, and I'm going to share that with you. Here are some strategies you can read up on, but the better question is, how does a school proceed with a drug and alcohol offense that involves students who are on a 504 plan? Wow. How do we do that? I'm glad you're here. A student currently engaged in the illegal use of a drug or alcohol is not, I'll say that, is not protected under 504 when the disciplinary actions of the school staff are based on the student's current use of illegal drugs or alcohol. Basically, what we are saying here, folks, is that they do not get the protections of 504 when you are when you have it. But the second part of it says schools may take disciplinary action against a student with a 504 disability who is engaged in the use of alcohol or illegal drugs to the same extent that it takes a disciplinary action against persons not having disabilities. Okay? So the second question to that I thought we need to ask ourselves today is a manifestation meeting necessary if a 504 student is cited for drug possession? Well, what it does say is that when the misconduct of a 504 disabled student centers on the possession of illegal drugs and not the use of illegal drugs, then a manifestation must occur. We're just giving them an opportunity to see if the use of drugs or the possession was the result. I know it's a little confusing, but that does not mean that they will be protected under 504. The team must make that decision. Now, there is a form in your handout. I want you all to take out that form. It looks something like this. It's your 504 Manifestation Determination Review form. If you look at that at the back of your packet, I'm going to talk about this form. This form, I've just called it, there's no such school as Happy Valley County School, so if you try to come here, we're not enrolling right now. So your 504 Manifestation Determination Review, if you look at the form, it basically talks about whether the infraction, for example, drugs and alcohol, has anything to do with the disability. If the team decide it is not a manifestation determination, then normal rules of school board policy will kick in, and they will be dealt with accordingly as you would do for a general ed student. Okay? Now, the other question that we did have previously was the question about how are parents involved. Well, here I've also included in your packet a parent notice sheet, which is towards the end of your presentation. And if you look at that, it simply is a very simple document. Feel free to use this that details that your son or daughter has been referred to for 504 services for a meeting, and you can read up about that, and there's going to be detail. This would serve sufficiently as a prior written notice, informing them that there might be also the possibility of an evaluation that we might consider, but you cannot evaluate any student without parent permission. You cannot do that, okay? So that's where parent will come in, and they will provide you with authorization, and it will sign off on them, okay? So I want you to read up the next one. Is a manifestation meeting necessary if a 504 student is cited for drug possession, right? And over here basically is that if it's part of the disability, we cannot remove the student from his or her program, but they have the right to a manifestation determination meeting. See the difference? You have the right to the meeting, but you're not guaranteed that you will get the protection. It depends on what the 504 team finds out. And that's called a manifestation determination. We use that in our special education disciplining. That word still applies in 504. Okay? At this time, if there are any questions, I know we're getting close to our finish point. If you have any questions, East West, and Middle on manifestation determination or any other question that you might have right now, I'd be more than happy to answer that. Feel free to call in. This is your opportunity. Or if you guys here today, my students, would like to ask any question, feel free to jump right in. Yes, Nicole.
When you were talking about allergies and the possibility that there might need to be an air purifier put in, if they get covered under Section 504, would that be funded? Would the teacher have to pay for it, or how would that work?
Ooh, great question, Nicole. Yes. That's why we have the 504 coordinator there, and because they know the budget. And yes, if the team man says an air purifier is needed, we have to provide it, and it belongs to the school, and that has to be provided. Another one was a humidifier. Another one that I had to deal with was acoustic tile for someone who had a hearing impairment. The tile had to be a certain type. The entire school had to be retiled because of the type of tile that was specifically needed for the type of hearing impairment. We also had to pay for an FM trainer where they had to where the teacher had to wear one of these mics and talk into it so the student could benefit from listening, but just make sure you turn it off at some times when you need to. Connie's laughing. Yeah. All right. Great question. Temporary disabilities, we talked about the automobile accident, and I'm just going to show you, I'm just going to flash some of these up there. AIDS is another one. If we have a student that has a chronic infectious disease, we need to have a 504 plan automatically. They would qualify for it. And make sure it's written. Make sure you have and most important part of this one is in-service your staff. Get them to become more knowledgeable, okay? And you can read up more about that. Also, one of the great issues in the United States is the issue of weight. Yes. Did you know that also with this particular issue of obesity in the 504 plan, and I've seen a 504 plan where we had to buy a modified chair for a child that was obese, because you and I know a child in a second grade classroom on those little chairs and they are obese, they're not going to be able to fit or sit in a chair like that. So we had to go and buy a different size chair. Who pays for that? The school does. That is part of the 504 plan. We need to provide special seating for this person. We need to also become monitors of the dietary implementation, okay? And so forth. Let's see what else we have. I've also included these forms. Feel free to use those forms. They're in your handout. Also call me if there's any time you have a question on a 504 case. You have my contact information at the back. My name is Dr. Khan. I'd be more than happy to even come to your school and work with your faculty and your staff on setting up a 504 referral process in your school system, okay? And make sure that if you are doing a manifestation determination, your school must provide this as an opportunity for all of your students, okay? And last but not least, I have a number of forms. Feel free to contact me. I'm more than happy to give you more forms of sample 504 forms, some manuals that I've collected over the years, and I thank you very much for the opportunity of being with you today, and I look forward to hearing back from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Zaf Khan. Thanks also to the MTSU students who joined us in the studio today. I'd like to remind our site facilitators to please have today's participants complete session evaluation forms. If our cable or webcasting viewers would like to give us feedback, we encourage you to complete a program evaluation form online at www.mtsu.edu/ITSC. You may also download a copy of the PowerPoint handout and the other handouts that Dr. Khan used in his program by visiting our website. If you'd like a free video copy of today's program, send us an unused VHS tape or a -R blank DVD in a pre-addressed stamped mailer, and we would be happy to dub a copy for you free of charge and mail it back to you. Please reference the program number at the bottom of your screen when making a request. And we do ask teachers to limit themselves to requesting 2 videos per semester and to be patient. It takes us most of the semester to edit our programs and get them ready for distribution. For details, contact Ginny Marsh at vmoxley@mtsu.edu. Before we sign off, I'd like to thank our technical crew and support staff, the MTSU Channel 9, which is now the Education Resource Channel at Middle Tennessee, our cable partners across the state and in Huntsville. And as always, I'd like to thank our site facilitators, but most of all, I'd like to thank the teachers who took time to join us for today's program. Thank you.